Okay, and then another thing that they do have you do is they have you write a host family short essay. So if you're writing a letter to your host family, they don't actually send this to your host families. I found out because that would have been really embarrassing. But it's you pretend like you're writing a letter to your host family. That's just basically them looking at the way that you would interact with them. Uh I basically talked about how I'd respect their rules. I mean, obviously it's very different depending on which country you go to, but here, like, you don't wear shoes in the house, and like, which is something I wasn't used to. But you have to talk about how you're adaptable. That's a big part of what they're looking for in applicants is seeing that you're adaptable, seeing that you adjust well to new circumstances. And then another one that they're really big on is how you can pick up on verbal and non-verbal cues like uh um you can pick up on circumstances even when someone isn't telling you, so picking up on body language, on tone of voice, like stuff. So they're looking for that kind of applicant, one that isn't gonna culturally offend someone, and that isn't, so they're looking for Americans that can do that really well for the country. And then, so honestly, the application process wasn't that hard. Language and location preferences. So Nestle is looking for language. Yes, and flex, location. That's something I wasn't quite aware about. I talked about like how when I went to college, I wanted to be a linguist. I wanted to study every language, and like I really like learning about languages. I mean, that's just my kind of weird thing, as I really like languages. But I wrote about that, and I think in one of my essays, and that's not. I applied only for yes, but that's not what yes is looking for or flex. They're looking for a cultural exchange. So while I am here learning the language, you don't have to learn the language when you're on Yes or Flex. It is a cultural exchange. So, but Nisly Y is and CBYX is a language. So if you're leaning more towards language, you would mainly kind of tweak your essays to be more towards Nisly and CBYX, and then Yes and Flex is cultural exchange. So you don't have to learn the language, but you do get culturally immersed, and it's so amazing. Like my mind is blown. I don't know how to explain it to you, but um we have some more. So oh yeah, and then this is for CBYX. They asked the same thing, just a little bit more essays on that one because that one is for German, and Germany is a up and coming. It's a major European country, so they just want to know more information about you to make sure that you represent America really well because we want to be in good standing with them. Otherwise, let's start talking about Yes Abroad programs. So this is what I'm on. Kennedy Lugar Youth Exchange and Study. So Youth Exchange and Study, yes, program. Kennedy Lugar was started. Kennedy was, I mean, he was a president, but also I think there was a judge with the last name Lugar. So they kind of teamed up a while ago, made this program. Great. They also have Yes Inbound. So they send people from other countries to the US. It's more rigorous for people to get into the US than it is for us to go out. They have like rounds. They have to take an English test, and then they have to do an interview round, and then they have to do like a preliminary round and then a final round. So they have to write new essays for every round. It's a lot more difficult. So, I mean, yay for us. I mean, it's easier to get abroad, but I know some of the kids that are applying right now, and they keep texting me like, "Hey, I just made it onto the preliminary round," because their application is due a lot sooner than for America because they have a lot more work that they have to do. But anyway, so we are only applicable for the Yes Abroad program because we're American citizens. These are some of the countries uh, that you can study abroad in. I mean, they change every year, but Bosnia and Herzegovina, so over here, that's where I'm at, close to Italy. And then we got Bulgaria up here, Egypt, Ghana in Africa, India, Indonesia, Jordan, Malaysia, Morocco, North Macedonia, Philippines, Senegal, Thailand, Turkey. These are the ones from this year. They change kind of every year. Bosnia's been in the running for 10 years. So a couple of these have been on there for a while, but a couple of them change every year. So you get any of these that you want to choose from. And then we have, so timeline for Yes Abroad.